We are. How's everybody doing? Hey, Brandon, good to see you. Kyle's not going to be here today. It looks like he has to work. He can catch us up on the replay. Brandon, good to see you. And turn that down. Oh, I got a couple of them I've got to turn down. On the replay. Brandon, good to see you. And turn that down. Oh, I got a couple of them I've got to turn down. On the replay. Brandon, good to see you. And turn that down. All right. There we go. I got it. No use in doing that echo stuff without any concern about that, huh? Sorry about that. I meant to do that before I started. There, now we're all better. Got too many things going on at one time. All right, we got Brandon. He's in here, it looks like. Let's see what else I got. Kyle won't make it. Virginia H. Good morning. How are you? Ryan Murphy, are you still in the hospital? See who else? Hey, Scott. Good to see you. Our Alaska cabin. Hey, how are you doing? Let me get everything going here so I can see what's going on. You're still in the hospital, Ryan? Bummer. Are you feeling any better? Sorry to hear about your mother, Scott. It's a hard one to deal with, but we all get old and have to go sometime. She must have been fairly old. You're feeling kind of better? Big Welsh. Hey, Dragon Raid. Good to see you. We've got a raid going on here, you guys. Think Dragon has come through. Oh, she was 83. Yes, sir. She had a good life then, for sure. I know having a son like you made it even better. It's gonna be 104. Where are you in the hospital at, Callie? Peanuts Preppers, how are you doing? Good to see you. Cheryl Hirsch, how are you doing, my sister? Yeah, I can imagine she would have had a good life with a son like you, Scott. Virginia Peppers, Peanuts Preppers. How are you doing today? Read it backwards. That's right, you guys go ahead. I want to talk today about what everybody thinks is going on with all this gun crap up in Washington. That is what the topic is I want to talk about today. Lori Jean, hey, man, we had a late night last night. I did not want to get out of bed today, you guys. Good to see everybody coming in here and supporting me. Don't forget to leave me that thumbs up, okay? I'm trying really hard to get like 50 of them. If I could get 50 thumbs up, I would be just plumb tickled, you guys. No dancing for me. You kept me up too late last night, Lori. All right, YouTube Irish Warrior Queen, how are you doing? Good to see you. Ted Manza, Dragon. He's from Dragon. All right. Think Dragon, you guys. Just dropping in to say hi, Wayne. Oh, man, you better stay. I want to talk about the thing with the guns. Albany, Oregon, Skywatcher, Dragon Raid. Good to see you. How's school going for you, Wayne? Justin and Christina's RV van live with the raid, you guys. Make sure you're grabbing up some of these guys as they come through here. Hey, old man. Oh, you finally got it mailed. Holy cow, I better start watching my darn postal box, huh? Nomadic Bike. Good to see you, my brother. I appreciate you coming in. Venus Eats. Now here, happy to be here. Right on. I'm glad everybody's here. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up, you guys. I want to try to get up to 50 today on those thumbs up. Marcos Eats. Good to see you. I found it buried. Yeah, I remember seeing you around too. You're on my subscription list for sure. If you guys aren't subscribed to me, make sure you're doing that before you get out here. Hey, Matt, good to see you. Raining from Thinking Dragon, that's right. Thinking Dragon, he's a good guy. Oh, there he is. Speak of the devil. There he is. How are you doing there? Nor Cooking Channel. Dragon Raid. There we go. Buried. Found it buried. Rising Hawk, Virginia. Good to see you. Make sure you guys are grabbing up all these new guys coming through here on this raid. Hey, CR. Oh, yeah, you are part of the family. Yes, indeed, Venus Earth. Thanks a lot for coming through here, Jason. There you go. Comment and make it count. That's right. Do it the right way. Hey, today's topic, you guys, is I want to talk about all that BS that they're doing in Washington. How they're talking about not going to be doing anything about the guns. I think that's kind of a thank you, Dragon. Hey, I think it's something to do with they're not going to start trying to take our guns away. I think that's super because it's going to be kind of hard to take away millions and millions of ARs for one thing. Let's just hope that Trump don't do the flip-flop back and go the other way again. You never can tell. One day he is doing good and the next day he's not. So he doesn't really know one way from the other what he's going to really do. I think he's trying to keep everything going his way, at least for the election part of the year. I want to know your guys' side of it. Is he doing it just because he's running for president again, and then when he gets reelected, he will turncoat on us again, or what do you guys think? That's right. I agree with you there, Matt. But I think that he's trying to just keep his base put together. I think that as soon as he gets either what do they call that, become the nominee, he may start to turn the coat on us again. While I was doing stuff around the house this morning, I was trying to pay attention to what was going on the news, and I guess that Democratic debate was on last night. I didn't get to watch it or anything, but I guess they're really hot and heavy and taking all of the guns. So we've got to make sure that we stay on top of this and keep contacting our congressmen and stuff, telling them to protect our Second Amendment rights. I don't know how many of the people in the raid are still here, but we usually talk about something like this on Fridays when I do my live streams. So if you want to just pipe in on any of it, that is cool. Feel free. It's an open forum. Our Alaska cabin. Yeah, they did. They're going to stop a lot of stuff. I think it's only for the election year too, you guys. I think it's because we're coming up on an election year that everybody's trying to hide their true feelings, and as soon as all the election stuff's over with, they will go right back to the same old habits they had before. I still think, and I haven't said anything for a while, is that some of those guys have been in there too long. We need to try to replace them through the ballot box. I'm not sure that would work, but it would be worth a try. Oh, it wasn't just California, old man. I think it was Washington D.C. did it first. Now California, and I'm sure that as it catches on, that state by state they'll all do that. All the blue states, anyway. I don't know why they don't leave that alone for now and try to do something like infrastructure or even healthcare. Healthcare is pretty important to Americans, and maybe that would be something more to be talking about in the election year for sure. I believe that for sure, Scott. I didn't, like I said, I didn't watch the debates or anything, but I've been catching bits and pieces of it on the news this morning as I was doing stuff around the house. And some of those guys were just blunt about it, when they were playing the clips from it, saying, "We are coming for your guns." Now, how the heck do you think that they can come for our guns? I mean, there's millions and millions of AKs and ARs out there. They started out talking about a buyback, but how do you buy back that many guns? And besides that, it's not the guys that got the guns legally. It's the guys that are the bad guys. Those guys are the ones that really need to be thinned out. And how do you tell the good guys from the bad guys when you're trying to do something like that? It really bugs me that they do that. I mean, how can they tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys? I agree they need to have more thorough background checks because that would catch a lot of the stuff that sifts through the cracks, but it's not going to stop everything because no matter what, the bad guys are going to get a gun. No matter what, if they can't get a gun legally, they'll buy it under the table somewhere. There's lots of people out there willing to sell guns. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch it, Matt, but just from the clips they've been playing on the news, I've been dinging around out here out in my work area where I do my leather work and stuff, and that keeps me away from the TV, but I can still hear it in the background. So when I hear I'm going to play something from a clip or something, I get up and I walk over there and I look at the clip. And some of those guys, I couldn't believe the words coming out of their mouths. I mean, they truly don't want to get elected if that's how they feel about it. I mean, I was one of those kids, I couldn't even go hunting with my dad. And this was back in the 60s. I couldn't even go hunting with my parents until I took hunter safety course. So, that kind of training and background check has been going on for decades, not just years, but decades. And, those are the kinds of things that kept everybody honest back in those days. You had to have hunter safety and you had to have a background check. Hunter safety is a good thing because it kind of weeds everybody out. The instructors have a chance to actually work with you on a one-by-one basis, and that way they can kind of see your mentality towards firearms and things like that. Or that's my opinion anyway. Let me try to catch up here on the chat. I got the window way too big. I gotta make it smaller so I can see you guys. Here we go. Uh, Make it so I can see it this way, I guess. So any of you guys can pipe in anywhere that when you guys came in through that raid, feel free to jump into the conversation. We always have a different topic every Friday afternoon. It's more or less just trying to get things out in the open of feelings. It's things to do with prepping, homesteading, 2A. We jump all over the place, but it mainly stays within those categories. And if it's something that you have a burning desire with, go for it. Yeah, I mean, gun safety. That's right. I'm talking about Andrew O'Neill, Black Cloud Mining. That's how it was where I grew up. You know, every kid when they turned, I don't know, I would think I was 14 or 15 when I took hunter safety, and you took hunter safety so you could get a gun and go out and hunt. They wouldn't let you have a gun until you did gun safety. So, that could be an ideal for them to start that back up again, and make it a federal thing. Let me get some of this up there. I forgot some of the stuff I can do over here on my computer here so we can all see it. Here's what Matt's saying. He said, I learned firearm training and safe practices from his father and grandfather, and he was just a kid. And he's going to do the same with his kids. And that's the way it should be. It should be all passed down from hand to hand, and that way it will keep, I think it'll keep the bad guys from being bad guys. No matter what, you're still going to get the bad guys are still going to get a darn gun. But if you do a stiff background check and make sure that the bad guys aren't getting the guns, I mean, the only people really fighting the background checks are the guys that have something to hide. Let them background check me. I had to get an FBI background check in my state to get a firearm. That's how stringent they are here. I mean, it's a red state. It's a firearm state, but they have laws. You have to be 21 to get a pistol, and in order to buy that pistol, you have to go through a background check. And it's not just an ordinary background check. It takes a while to get it back. Then after you get that background check done, if you're going to go concealed, you have to take so many hours of training before you can get a concealed permit, and then you have to train. You take the FBI firearm training to fire the pistol correctly or whatever, the rifle. And then they do a really stringent background check on you. And then if you get all that done, then you are good to go for buying firearms. Now, I don't see anything wrong with anything like that. I don't have anything to hide. So as far as I'm concerned, that is just perfect for me. Yeah, it's a true fact. But with everything going on right now, I think that if you have to wait a few extra days to get okayed, at least you're keeping the crazies off the gun list. I mean, I totally agree with the 2A amendment, but do you want some guy that's not all right in the head to have a gun and go into a school and shoot them up where you're possibly where your kids are? I mean, I wouldn't want anybody to go shoot my kid's school up. I'm just saying you have to have a line somewhere where they can try to keep the sand from going through the cracks in the sidewalk. I'm trying to keep up with you guys here. In Virginia, there's no what? Checks on what? They're talking about a national registry. Is that in Virginia or Tennessee, Scott? Let's see what I got here. Yep, that's right, Cheryl. It'll only work for the real gun owners. Like I said, if you're a bad guy, it doesn't matter. You're not going to worry about a stinking background check. Matt says a-holes like Kubo in New York passed a law on his own that if you get a delay, you have to wait 30 days and can proceed with a sale after 3 days. It's totally up in the air. That's why I said they need to wait till after the election to attack it. That way you get true bipartisanship. You don't get people trying to get brownie points. That's what I see happening right now. Everybody trying to get those brownie points. Matt says no background checks are required on private sales and trades in Virginia. Well, I think they're going to try to stop that too, if I remember. They're going to try to stop those private sales from happening. I think I heard it on TV or I read about it. I'm not saying I agree with that either, but there has to be a line that we can draw that the legal gun owners, the people that really aren't afraid of people knowing that you got a gun or that you're okay to have a gun, I mean, I don't really understand. I guess I'm confused. I'm of the old school. I don't want people going into the schools and shooting up all the kids, or into a church or a synagogue or anything like that and shooting it up. I mean, you have to find a direction to go to keep those things from happening, or at least keep them down to a minimum. I guess that's the best way I know how to explain it. Even as law-abiding citizens don't always follow the law. It's human nature sometimes to bend the laws. And I don't think that I just saw something about magazine capacity. I don't think there should be a limit on the magazine capacity. That's not really doing anything. That's all that is limiting the amount of bullets that go through a gun. It's not the gun that shoots the people, it's the person behind the gun. That's what they don't get. some of those guys have never owned a gun or even shot a gun, Get that up there. See the red flag, National Registry magazine capacity. Yeah, bans are floated out there from the House. Yeah, a lot of those guys don't even know. They don't have a clue because they didn't grow up around firearms or anything like that. They are just going with statistics or what other people tell them. That's what it's just. Yeah, see, yeah, that's what I was trying to say there, Scott. Is it's really not the gun that's killing the people; it's the person behind the gun. But there has to be a way to find. There has to be a way to find out who those people are before they get the guns. Hey, FFP, how are you doing? Good to see you. Glad you came through. Hey, Lou, I didn't see you either. How are you doing? That's right, Lou. You can't drive down the street without breaking the law. That's right. They got so many damn laws for us to keep us in line that we break them just going down the street. He has got a totally good point there. Matt says, let me find this, Matt, and I'll bring it up on this other one. He says he's taught shotgun courses and well-trained individuals with a pump action shotgun with the road loads can do just as much carnage as a high-capacity magazine. That's what I get, is they want to outlaw all these hunting or ARs or AK-47s. They're no more than just a hunting rifle, but they don't even pick on the other weapons like you said, the shotguns, the shotguns that you can modify. You can modify a shotgun to do a whole lot more damage than what a regular AR or AK does, but they are not even going after those kind of weapons. They're going after the name brand ones, AKs, AK, AR. It's all bullshit. See, I think it's this one. Yep. Cheryl says it is real simple. If you're going to have gun laws, then you need to have laws for knives and objects that can kill. But then you're creating more laws. We all talk about less government, but then when it comes to guns, they want to make more government. Very confusing to me. I mean, I wish I was back to the 60s again, to tell you the truth. I mean, it was much simpler back then. Less is better. Matt says they're going to start ban rocks and sticks next. Yeah, I probably would have been too, Scott. Brandon says we need to enforce the laws already on the books. I think they talk about doing psychological testing on everybody before they get a gun. That's one of the things that they have brought up. You know how many psychological tests would be taken just to get a firearm. That is another infringement on our rights right there. That's right, Lou. That's what we're getting at here. It all starts with the assault weapons, and then after they got those under control, oh wow, those guys don't use those anymore. Now they're using semi-automatic pistols. Oh, we've got to outlaw semi-automatic pistols because they can make those things automatic. We've got to get rid of those. I can just see it coming. It's the beginning of the end. You'd probably flunk every psych eval. That's the difference is even if they get a psych evaluation, they're going to fake it. They're going to fake the darn thing. If they know they have to go take one, they're going to fake it. Oh, nomadic Blake. There he goes. He hit it right on the head. I'm going to bring it up here for you. Laws are good for abiding citizens. If you're a felon and want a weapon for crime, the guy in the black alley with the guns in his trunk doesn't do a background check. Now that is right on, brother. Right there is correct. That's what they don't get. I mean, they're not hurting anybody, but they're a law-abiding citizen when they start making those laws where nobody can get the AKs, the AK-47s. Heck, you could get a tank if you go down the right black alley. You go on the dark web, you can get anything. That's the same with the prescription drug thing. You go on the deep dark web, you can get opioids and stuff right out of Asia. Half the cost, a third of the cost of what you get them for here. Heck, that's how most of the drug dealers do it. I saw a special on Discovery or History Channel, and they get them right off the deep dark web. They just order them through the mail. They bring them right over here into the U.S., and then they sell them. So it's the same way with the guns and stuff. They just get it off the deep dark web where there's nobody checking anything that they're doing. They're just getting what they want. That's how those psychos get them. They don't have to go through any of the stuff that the law-abiding citizen has to go through. They go to their deep dark web, they get what they want, and then they're good to go. Oh, you know a guy with a tank? Go figure, only Matt would know. Weaponized pressure cookers. That's what Acer says. And it's not really, if they do all those gun bans, all that really does, in my opinion, is satisfy the sissies and whatnot. Now they're saying, "Oh boy, we got our way." But look, as soon as they get all that taken care of, then the psychopaths and stuff that can still get the guns because they don't have to go through the same rigorous law changes that we have to go through, go out and they start shooting stuff up again just to laugh in our face. I don't get it at all. I think they're barking up the wrong tree, and I really think they should be talking about things like healthcare and infrastructure instead of guns. Raven Tactical Prepper Channel, how are you doing, sir? It is very good to see you today. I'm going to have a tracking number for you here this afternoon, sir. I already have the package all put together. I just have to get it down to the post office. Yeah, Reuben, you came right into a good stream here. We are talking about all the gun bullshit that they're talking about on TV and up on the hill. I was watching C-SPAN yesterday. Right, I was right in the Congress when they were talking. That's probably the best place to go if you want to get it right from the horse's mouth, because they're talking about it right there in Congress, and they're talking about the same thing, except they're not putting any spin on it. All right, FFP, thanks for coming in and intermingling with us. I appreciate that. That was a great stream I was on this morning with you up there, showing everybody those healthy drinks and stuff that you do. I'll be seeing you again out there. Yeah, that's me too. I lost my AR out in the lake when I went fishing. Hey, Anthony, good to see you, brother. Glad to see you came in. Pam TV as well. How are you doing? I am doing fine. Thank you for asking. Does anybody want to come up on the big screen with me? You're more than welcome to get up here. Just let me know. I'll put a link out there for you. Prepping to endure. All right. Good to see you as well. How are you, brother? Bottom of the lake. That's what I say. You must have watched the debate, huh? I watched a clip from that this morning. He's way out there. I put one up there for you guys. If you want, just come on up. Let me know you're coming. I will have to change my microphone, but that's not a big deal. There we go. That will bring you guys up here if you want to come. I'm doing pretty good, prepping to endure. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. I don't really see any real big fix for them to be able to do anything that would make everybody happy. Not when it comes to gun reform. The gun buyback plan, yeah, right. The gun buyback plan. And how many $1 trillion do you have to get those guns back? Because most of them cost a lot of friggin' money. It's going to take a couple of trillion, you think? Not today for you, Cheryl. What's your thought on it, Uncle Al? Oh, yeah, there is another hurricane coming in on the East Coast, you guys. I think we should go by the Constitution. I mean, they didn't, they made that thing for us to, for we, the people, to be safe from the government. So if the government is trying to change the Constitution, then they themselves are the problem. They are not true patriots if they are trying to change our framework. Trying to read the chat. It's kind of small over here on the side chat here where I'm at. I'll bring this one up. It looks interesting. Lou said he tried to watch some of it, and all they did was bicker with each other, bash Trump. Yeah, they didn't have any ideas. That sounds about familiar from them. Yeah, that's about right, Lou. All I can say is I think he is selling us out, Mr. Trump. Yeah, that's another good one there, Anthony. Like I said, if they did that, then they would be making all the good guys look bad, and then the bad guys would be sitting there laughing because the bad guys are not the ones that are going to be caught with their pants down. Hey, Wes, I didn't see you slip in here. He says the rights of the public to keep their bear their arms shall not be infringed. Anything else is treason. Yep, I agree with that 100%. They're trying to change the Constitution, which makes them the bad guy. not us. Anybody trying to change the Constitution is not a true patriot. We just better hope that we can find a Republican that will take care of us. Because I'm pretty sure that Trump is going to sell us out. Trying to catch up with you guys here. You get something up here from Uncle. He says we're trying to get hit from both sides, Will. Robber barons and socialists. Well, that's what it is. It's that 1%. They are wanting to control everything. And the people in Congress and the Senate, even the White House, they want those guys to get what they want, and they don't care about the little guys. We are just ants in the molehill. Sue them. We should kick them out of government, Wes. They need to be out. Need to vote them out at the ballot box. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. I think they should be out of the ballot box. Although they are using guns for political gain. Oh, look who just jumped in. All right, how are you doing, SOP? Good to see you. You think we could get a class action suit against them, Wes? What would 30 billion people in a class action suit look like? Oh, we didn't say the 2A rights are safe by far, SOP. Well, what I'm saying, Wes, is if you got like a class action suit, that would be 30 million, 40 million Americans suing the government. Basically, that would be like a class action suit, right? If you have everybody together suing, everybody sued one at a time, and I don't think you'd get very far. But if we did like a class action suit, had 30 or 40 million suers filing at one time as one entity. What do you mean the government isn't the problem? They're the ones that pass the laws. They let the lobbyists and the big gun owners. I don't know. It's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that they're the problem. The government is the problem because they're the ones that pass the law. Yeah, that would probably work. Class action against every citizen who called for gun control. 30 million of us, or whatever it is, 40 million. I know there's a bunch of us. Only thing is, what I was saying, make it like a class action suit, is because if you do that, then you know how many people are actually in it with you. If you're telling everybody to do it one at a time, then what's happening is you're not seeing who's actually with you and who's just being a hot bag of air. Regular people. Although that's probably most of the lefties. Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you, Wes. I know we have our disagreements, Wes, but this is one thing we're not in disagreement on. I am a good gun toter, man. You're going to have to work pretty hard to get them guns out of my hands. That's what I said. It's all political. If we don't, if we don't get, I don't see why we're not talking healthcare and infrastructure. I was reading an article the other day, and it said that we haven't talked infrastructure in politics for 3 generations, three decades, I guess it is, 3 decades. They haven't tried to improve our infrastructure at all because they said that the politicians hold infrastructure hostage every time. So for 30 years, they haven't even done anything with the infrastructure because that's a bargaining chip for them. So since they can't ever get what they want between the parties, then infrastructure never gets done because uh, they can't agree on anything. Somebody get sneak in here on me. Let me look. Let's see. C103. I saw you come in. Should have called you out. I didn't. I'm sorry. I try to call everybody out. Prep for it. There he is. That must have been who I was missing. Here's somebody saying hi to somebody. Oh, Dad, perfect. Wherever you wherever you slipped in at, hi, Dad. Everybody thinks that all the government officials think that they are in charge. They don't understand it's the people that should be in charge. Happy Friday to you too, sir. Too many politicians for sure. Or actually, if we just had politicians that did their job. I'm under the assumption that they all have good intentions when they go to Washington, but as soon as they're there for a year, the lobbyists all get in their pockets and they forget where they come from. Yeah, it looks like a good one. Try to get up here where I can read it. It's funny our forefathers tried to defend your rights, then Lincoln killed them. About right, huh, Anthony? That is very true, friend. Josh Connor, hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Josh. Thanks for stopping by. You jumped into a can of worms. Welcome. Well, my friends, I don't think that anything's going to stop them on the gun rights right now. I mean, that has been in the limelight for many weeks now. Yeah, don't go there, Lou. Comey, he should have gone to jail. Wasn't his decision to make all, it wasn't his doing to make all those decisions that he made. And if they didn't send him to jail. Now they're trying to put McCabe in jail. But why can they put McCabe in jail if they didn't put Comey in jail? So I see him going to walk too. They probably won't put McCabe in jail either. Yeah, you can beat that till it's dead, Brandon. She'll never get into a jumpsuit. Never. That goes back to the old adage of how much money do you have? There's Palmetto. That's another good point right there, Anthony. Federal government only exists because the states allow it. Yep, you're right, Brandon. There we go. The federal branch of the government is called for our Constitution. It is, however, supposed to be comprised of those loyal to their states. And that's where it comes down to what I was saying before about they all have good intentions when they go to Washington. It only takes a year, sometimes less than a year, for the lobbyists to actually get in their pockets and change their attitudes. Each state used to be its own sovereign nation. They all came into alliance to form the federal government, only for two jobs: to protect the homeland and to regulate the interstate trade. What interstate trade? Pretty much all gone for us. Like I said, I believe our president has sold us out. That's only my opinion. I don't have to uh, feel bad about my own opinion. That's right, Glue, for sure. Perfect. That's a perfect analogy. Yeah, see, I'm listening. I'm going to go up here a ways. It looks like I missed something. Wish it was a lot bigger over here on this side. I already got that one taken care of. Now, that is so true right there, Wes. Lawyers are good for the money, but then they get into politics. So you got politics and lawyers. Lawyers are politicians. And then we got Palmetto. Imagine how more prosperity there would be if we weren't taxed on average at 60 cents on the dollar. Imagine if we got taxed like the top 1%. Still Winter, hey, good to see you. How are you? I'm glad you finally made it here. We're talking politics. I hope you like it. Politics. Politics and guns. They all go hand in hand. Well, it started out being guns, but it ran into politics because it all runs together. So either or, feel free to jump in wherever. The beef from our cow. What I see happening is maybe we should be taxed like the 1% should. Then our country would truly be rich again. There is no middle class left. I can attest to that. I used to be middle class, but they slowly drew it all out. It might be worth there's something to see about there. Farm subsidies replaced farm trade. The government decides who can buy the products and at what cost. Made mom and pop farms unviable. Yep. They started doing those, they started having government cash cows, government cows, they grew them and sent them overseas. Same with, it was the same with, actually, it was the same with China. China did something like that too. They had cow farms, or I can't remember what they called them. They weren't farms, but they grew them all indoors. You are so true there, Raven, for sure. Did Budget make it in here? He did. How you doing, Budget Bushcraft? I'm glad you made it through finally. Good to see you, my friend. If 25 cents on the dollar went to the government, you know what? That would be a whole lot better than what we're paying now. I think we ought to let the farmers decide where their crops and meat go as well. The government has no clue what they're doing with it. We have states like Iowa and Minnesota and all these Midwestern states that have silos full of soybeans because they can't sell them on the open market because of the embargo. Why do they need a SWAT team? You need to ask that question. That's a good question. I'm going to put that one up there. That was a good one. I had to put it up there. They needed to have it so they could go seize all the farms and stuff that they screw. Hey, excuse me. Uh, mic input might be too hard. I'm trying not to be so close to it. That's the problem. If I stay away from it, it doesn't do that. That's why I try to sit back. But I was sneezing. Post office has a SWAT team? For what? That is a good question. I don't understand that. Yeah, I'm glad you told me, but it's a strong mic. I try to keep it away from me. Every agency has a SWAT team. That's just so they can go and take back forcibly? Yeah, we definitely have. Government definitely has too much government. Need to thin all that stuff out. Well, you want to talk about China, Anthony? Actually, China owns a lot of America's soil. They started buying the land here a couple of decades ago. They already figured out it took a long time ago how to start taking over on us. A better tax preparer. All my loopholes are gone, Wes. All my kids grew up. Pretty soon, what? Warlord Wang, and he is going to be my landlord. Yep, I'm probably pretty sure about that. Oh, you pay just SSI and FICA? You don't pay the unemployment insurance and all that other stuff that goes in there? How do you get around all that stuff? Let's see. Douglas, hey, I just saw you coming in. How are you doing? He's 10-9 training films. Eb Douglas, you guys. Grab him up. I don't even know what we got going here. You guys hitting my like button for me? Come on, you guys, hit that like button. You guys can do better than that. Yeah, that's true. I used to get quite a bit back when my still had kids in the house, but that's all gone now. I guess the one Democrat he wants to give that one guy running for president. He wants to give all Americans $1,000 a month free. Did you guys hear about that guy? You owe taxes every year? How come? How come you owe taxes every year, Anthony? You living outside your income? Huh? Saudi Arabia? Yeah. Those guys want everything. Oh, you don't. Oh, I see how you do that, Wes. You're self-employed, so you have what do they call that? A 1091 or something like that. I don't know what they call it anymore, but I think when I worked for myself, it was a 1091 tax form. They might have a different one now. What's that supposed to mean, Raven? Chicks can't resist you. You telling me you're a chick magnet? Andrew Yang. There you go. I see it up there, Palmetto. Yeah. Andrew Yang. He's the one that wants to give all Americans $1,000 a month. Oh, okay. Thanks, Nomadic. I appreciate you coming by, my brother. I'll catch you up. You'll probably be live later, okay? Thanks for coming by. Church cake will. I don't get it. Chocolate cake, you meant, huh? Oh, I see what you're saying, Wes. If you pay everything quarterly, then you don't have to pay as much. What if you don't? What if you don't make enough to pay in quarterly? What happens then? 1099. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, I've got my AR. I built my own AR. I've got a primary arms optical scope on there. What are we prepping for? We're prepping for SHTF, whether that be a local SHTF or it could be possibly a war. Well, you did pretty good, Wes. I really have to congratulate you. Good job. Actually, very good job. There's a lot of states that actually don't have a sales tax, a state sales tax. You know, where you have to pay in and into your state account every year, and then get a state tax refund back. There's a lot of states that don't do that anymore. I'm retired now, Wes. I don't have to think about it, but there were a few times that I did work for myself, and I always got screwed over. I always did better working for somebody. When you work for somebody, there's all kinds of loopholes you can take, you know. Alcohol tax, oh, I bet. Cigarettes are tough too. It depends on what state you live in. If you some states, every time they create a tax, then they usually tax cigarettes. Cigarettes or gas. Yeah, the property taxes are done by the state. A mandatory hospitality tax. Jim Beer. Hey, how you doing, my brother? I'm gonna have to wrap this up. We're on here longer than I usually am. Rural tax? Who does rural tax? I never heard of a rural tax. Who the heck does a rural tax? Oh, it's too hot, so you took a day off. Well, I'm glad you did. That way you can come in and check on us. Yeah, I don't get that one there at all. I don't get that tax at all on water. They tax water. This is what they did. This in my town this year. What they did was they put a 7% hike, a 7% tax hike on bottled water. 7% on bottled water. I don't get it. Water. So in Texas West, do the property taxes go up every year? Like when I had my house in Washington State, it didn't matter whether I did improvement on it or didn't do improvement on it. Our tax on it went up every year. How about there in Texas? They do the same thing in Texas. Put that link back up. All right, I will. I gotta find how to do it. I see you there, Wes. Hold on. Make it. Let me move this other thing out of the way. All right. There you are.
Wow, Jesus, bro.
Now you're in.
I don't want to feed back on you or nothing like that. Tell me if I'm echoing.
I don't hear any echo.
Okay. Now then, I hear this a lot in all these chats. This time I can jump in here and say something. Your state and local governments do not have a damn thing to say. They have zero control over how much property tax you pay. Their only job is to collect it.
So how come they raise it up every year?
It's not them. It's your hospitals, your school boards, your schools, your hospitals, your community colleges, stuff like
that's what they always blame it on. Yep.
No, they are the ones raising it. They literally have functioning control over whether or not the rates get raised.
So you can tell them to go to hell?
Nothing to do with it. The county has nothing to do with it. That they're not blaming it. They're not trying to get out from under it. They're not saying, "Oh, well, we don't have any control over that." They literally don't have any fucking control over it.
So if they build a school, say they build
the school just says we need more money, and boom, the county has to collect it.
So they pass
the president of the hospital here, which I wish I could, but I can't. If they decide that they want new machines and new curtains and new rugs or whatever they want at the hospital, and that instead of $20 million a year operating budget, they need $30 million a year operating budget. Then they just say, okay, this is how much tax money y'all need to collect for us. And because of the way everything's set up, the county people have no choice but to collect that many taxes. Because all the people, because they always put out, like here, we screwed up. We had an open vote. We voted to make that a county hospital so that it would become a better hospital and we'd have better stuff.
Yeah, well, you vote on the hospital.
We voted to let a private entity have control over how much of our tax dollars they could collect.
Yeah, basically that's it. Yeah,
that's exactly it. Most of our property taxes in this county go to that hospital. We only have 3 schools in this county.
So they give you free medical.
No, actually, that hospital will not take the county insurance.
Oh,
That
really?
will not honor the insurance that they offer the county employees.
Is that something or what? Huh?
I mean, I probably should not even be saying all this, but this is a fact. I mean, this is stuff I know how it works.
Yeah.
And all you people, man, the government, the county's fucking me over. No, what y'all need to do whenever they raise your taxes like that, when they raise your property taxes next time, get all your friends, go down to the county hospital and the local community college and to the schools. All those teachers that are going, they're just not paying us enough. They're starving us out. This $55,000 a year plus free, blah, 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 and all that. It's just not enough, damn it. Well, they gave them a raise, and guess where the money came from? They're taking it, the school districts, community colleges, county hospitals, stuff like that. They're the ones that keep raising your property taxes. The state county run entity that all they do is set the values. They can't even decide what the values are. The state government sets.
So it's like a percentage, like my property, it was a percentage. They said, well, we're going to they built this brand new friggin', it was a medical building, but it's like a small ER. And they just took 7%. They raised our taxes 7% across the board for everybody in town so that they could build this extension on this medical building.
Right. And we were supposed to get a brand new hospital, but then when they dug for the foundation, water came in to the holes for the foundation. It's like, oh, we can't build here. There's a golf course over there that's always got water standing in places in it, and you dug down to the top of that little pond over there, okay? There's sand. The water just came across. Calm your shit. Put polymer freaking cement concrete down there. They could have built the new hospital. They didn't, okay? They never want to. They didn't want the new hospital. They wanted to remodel the old one. They won. They didn't get the new hospital, so they remodeled the old hospital.
They kept the money and remodeled instead, right?
And no, they actually got more.
Oh, they got more?
Because it was going to be cheaper to build the new hospital than to remodel the old hospital. So they were going to let them build a new hospital. They didn't want the new hospital.
So it's actually bureaucratic, not political.
It's
bureaucratic.
It's people whom I cannot name that are doing it. And the reason I'm not running for political office within 50 counties of this place. There's just, if y'all want things to change, get more
involved.
Get out from it. Stop listening to guys like me and Will do live streams in the middle of the freaking afternoon on a Friday and go down to the courthouse and say, hey, we've got these meetings going on. When's the next this? When's the next that? And go stand out front of Walmart with little pieces of paper that you made, you type it up and then you kick them out in your printer and chop them up and give all these little deals out telling people there's a meeting. There's a town hall meeting. There's a board of directors meeting. There's
that's exactly right. That's what they need to do.
And then next thing you know, they'll either buy you out and move you out of the county, or things will change. Either way, win-win. You don't have to pay taxes anymore. So
that's a true fact, too, Wes. When I was younger, like when I was in my 30s and 40s, that's exactly what I did. I was always out there being pain in somebody's side trying to change things.
I did earlier and then I quit, but I used to be on the wrong side. I hate to admit this, but I used to be a flaming Democrat.
Yeah.
I was I mean, my family was from the South. We were Democrats.
Uh,
That's just the way it was. And then I learned that no, we're actually this. We're not a democratic country. We're a democratic republic.
I used to be
Supposed to be a
Democrat
constitutional
too.
republic. And the the party that everybody's calling Republican now isn't actually a Republican Party. We don't have a Republican Party anymore.
Actually, no, it's killing itself.
Well, no, it's been dead a while. The Republican Party was wanted small. Somebody mentioned it over here. Actually, required a small federal government, and all the governance was supposed to be done on a state level. And then, basically all the federal government did is say, no, South Carolina, you cannot make it against the law for guys from North Carolina to buy honey over here. You can't do that. That's not cool. That's all the federal government was supposed to do, was prevent states from passing a law that made it hard for another state to do business outside of their own borders.
Yep. To keep all the money in states so that they could prosper.
Yeah, and that's which we can argue it was over slavery to a large degree. It was because slavery was, besides being a huge human bad thing to do, I mean, it was a morally wrong thing to do the way it was being done. But that's a different story. Biblical slavery is completely different. But the war was fought because the economics in the South could not be competed against in the North. The North was having to use money, gold, silver, copper, to pay their employees to get product out, which they were buying. And for goods that were being made in the South, they were having to spend gold and silver and copper to make it work. In fact, there was paper money back then, but they were silver certificate, gold certificates. Follow me on that?
Yep.
They were actually based in, if somebody gave you $1, it didn't say $1 US.
Yeah.
$1 US silver certificate. I actually have it.
Yeah, it had a little emblem on it, but it didn't say dollar or 25 cents or anything like that.
U.S. silver certificate.
Yeah.
But anyway, the face value was a dollar's worth of silver with us. The thing is, the war was fought to make the government, to allow the government a chance to get bigger. But that was north to south. The northern, which was where the actual, what we now consider the Democratic Party, was actually the strongest. They needed for the South to fail economically. The rest of it didn't matter. Economically, they needed them to fail so that they could enact the legislation which allowed the federal government to have more control over interstate trade.
Yep.
20 years, was it 1860 something, 1864, 65, 66 in there? Anyway, after that was all said and done, by the 1890s, we were doing international trade. By the 1930s, we were primarily international trade. What started, and they think with a couple of countries pissed off at each other, that's not what started the World War II. What started World War II was an attempt for this group of nations to take control over all of the industrial assets in Europe so that they would be able to compete financially. That had nothing to do with religion or ethnic diversity or lack thereof or any of it. They wanted to control the production and the money so that they could compete with who was on the other side of the ocean? Us. Because they noticed that we went from a bunch of little states making each other money to being a bunch of states run by one entity that was going to take over the economics of the entire world, which did happen until quite recently. What was the one thing that all the other currency on the planet was levied against? I mean, what, £1 was worth how many US dollars? That's how it used to be done. You know, that's how you knew how much money your money was worth.
Yeah.
That's not true anymore. What now? I think one US pound or one English pound or whatever is actually worth more. Then you can get a couple of bucks for a pound. And
part of it was because we started measuring our worth, but we took our measuring our worth from the gold. They took gold off the market, and then they started going to regular. Can't remember now.
That's something else. I don't play the gold and silver thing.
But when they took gold out of the way that we manage our money, that was part of our downfall. That's when we started actually losing money on all of the
I'm
goods.
not going to argue with anybody over the. I wonder how long that's been in there. I'm not going to argue with anybody over whether or not the Federal Reserve is a load of crap, because yeah, it is. The government should be in control. I mean, the peoples of the United States should be in control of how much our money is worth. We never should have borrowed money from a bank as a country, but we had to win a war, and here we are. So everybody's like, oh, this, that, and everything else. We can blame it on the government, so we can do this and that and everything else, but it wasn't. There's nobody out there, not even the president, that is anything more than a puppet. They're just somebody getting their strings pulled. That's it. We can say anything else we want to. It's not the way it works.
Well, crafty Shaq Jude says he agrees with you. He says it happens here in their Commonwealth. He agrees with you, what you're saying. He says it happens to them there in their Commonwealth. He says it's nice to know you have the same values.
Yeah, we have values. It'd be nice. What it boils down to
is you should never have borrowed so much damn money from China.
We shouldn't have borrowed. See, that the media wants us to blame borrowing money on China. We didn't borrow any money from China. Well, we borrowed money from the Rockefellers. China, the same bank we owe money to, China owes money to. China doesn't have their own magic wealth and worth over there. The Federal Reserve Bank, the people that are the money behind our bank, our US dollar bank, the same one behind theirs. We didn't borrow money from China. It's not when they say trade deficit, or when we have a debt and with them or whatever. No, it means they're selling us more shit than we're selling them. That's what it means. We're not actually going, okay, China, we need you to loan us some money so we can stay in business. Now we need to quit letting them put these windmills up until they figure out a way to get rid of them blades. But that's something different. Nobody's going to complain about that though, because all the guys, they're getting their checks. They're making their $1,500–$1,600 a week. They don't care what the top end of that is. They don't care that they're actually forcing the United States government to borrow money from the Federal Reserve to pay Chinese companies to invest in putting windmills up all over the world, all over the country. But we don't need to talk about that. We do not need to talk about that because by golly, I'm getting my paycheck.
I was going to say, that's another story.
Okay. You know, even though it's me getting my $1,500–$1,600–$2,000 $2,000 a week paycheck for running the crane or pouring the concrete or tightening the bolts or welding the seams or whatever it is I'm doing.
Yep.
That has nothing to do with the fact that I just happen to be the bottom ant on the stack that's feeding all the money back to the people that are trying to destroy our freedoms. I mean, everybody's trying to blame everybody else. We're all on the same freaking what's that little thing? That gopher wheel.
Merry-go-round.
We're all there just run. I got off. I'm sitting over here by the water bowl, eating the gopher food or whatever it is, the little hamster food, going, y'all stupid. But that's just me. My wife wishes I would go get back on the hamster wheel. She says I'm annoying.
She wants you back on the hamster wheel?
Yeah. She doesn't care if I go and get a job. She just wants me to go do something. No. Anyway, that's it. Don't stop bitching about your local government raising your property taxes. It's not them. It's your local hospitals, schools, blah, blah, blah. Go to your school board and say, no, I don't want all those little wetback sons of bitches to have their own laptops.
Yep.
There, you just lowered your property taxes. What do you mean? No, I don't care if we have new AstroTurf on the football field or not. There, you just saved yourself property taxes. What do you mean? But my kid plays on that field. I want the new AstroTurf.
I don't have any kids. What about me?
Yeah. That's it. Everybody's like, only you have kids. Doesn't work that way. It's somebody has to pay for the school stuff. If you're not on top, if you're not staying on top of what your superintendents are spending your tax dollars on, that's your fault.
Yep.
If you're not going to the school board meetings, that's your fault. You don't have to have a kid. Did you know that you do not have to have a kid in school to go to a school board meeting? It is open to all taxpayers.
Yep, I know that. Yeah, I've been to a lot of them.
Did you know that you do not have to be or have to have a kid enrolled in public school to serve on a school board? You could run for school board. You could tell them, no, we are not spending $12 million on a freaking cafeteria so y'all can open the campus and have all the kids go to town and eat McDonald's.
Yep. We only got
really,
four kids.
They did that.
$1 million.
The lunchroom, just the part where they make just the kitchen and shit was like $2 million.
Well, it's not back in the day when we just went through the lunch line, West, and we just got what we put on our plates and went and sat down and ate it, you know.
Back when I was a kid and we were doing that, to me that was the coolest because I was poor. I had the same freaking breakfast every day. Not complaining. I did not go to school hungry. And had a good supper. But there was always something I had never eaten before in my entire life on that plate when I went over and sat down.
Yep.
It wasn't biscuits and gravy. It wasn't beans and cornbread. The first time I ever tasted pizza was at school. First time I ever tasted barbecued pork was at school. Those kids have no idea what doing without is, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat at the cafeteria, Mom. They make fun of the kids that eat at the cafeteria.
Hell, they got vending machines in the schools now.
If your kid, this is some parenting advice. If your kid is crying about having to eat at the cafeteria because none of the rich kids do, go to the doctor. If it's a boy, and see if you can get him some testosterone. You can go and get his nuts to fall down, and he'll grow a pair, and he'll be all right. And if it's a girl, just tell her to suck it up, Buttercup. It's going to be like this the rest of your natural life.
Till you get that boy with the big nuts, you're going to be the same old way.
He'll be just fine. He'll have your back, and everything will work out. This one kid called. I was in 6th grade. I remember his mom coming up there was complaining because the kid didn't like the food or whatever, and was trying to make them change the way they cooked the food at the cafeteria. And I'm pretty sure that kid is still scarred to this day because the rest of the kids caught wind of it, and he was ridiculed forever. I mean, at least all the way up to the 8th grade. And come think of it, I think he transferred out. Yeah, I'm pretty. He went back to Lubbock. I mean, we were all having to eat the same thing. That's like, what are you, some kind of special prisoner or something? We all convicts in here. We all got to show up. We do our little 8 hours at the sanatorium, then we go home. We all eat exactly the same thing.
That's like my son when he got in high school. He kept saying, "I want money so I can go eat with the kids at I think a Jim's Drive-In or something like that." I said, "Oh no, you're eating there at school because I don't have the money to let you go out to eat every day."
Well, that's I'd carry when I got old enough to drive the truck. Well, let me rephrase that. When I started driving the truck to school, because I started working when I was 11.
Yeah.
And calm down. They didn't force me. I started working full time when I was 14, and I had to have a truck. So I drove the truck back roads, parked it off the school property. But I would go ahead and eat lunch. But I would bring my lunch every day, but I'd go ahead and eat what was in the cafeteria, because then I could take my lunch, and instead of having to go home to eat before I went to work, I could go straight to my job and eat my lunch that I carried with me and go right to work. And that allowed me to get home and in bed usually before 11 o'clock at night. I got out of class at 3:45. I could be on the tractor by 4:20, 4:50, depending on whether I had to put a plow on it or if it was already set up. I could be driving the tractor and making rows by 5 o'clock every day. But as soon as I got to the property, it didn't matter what I was doing, I could start my time. So, it took me about 15 minutes to get from the school to where I would be doing my work. So I could start my freaking time at 4 o'clock every day. And then there was only so much to do. I had to put in 4 hours a night to get it all done. Sometimes 6. And then I would have to work Saturdays, most Saturdays. Now I did have to go I'd have to go run irrigation before class started. So while everybody else is sleeping, I'm out moving irrigation pipe and stuff. But anyway, that doesn't matter. It was odd to me that people bitched about the fact that they were getting fed. And it is,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like what they're feeding me. When we had people come here from the Katrina thing or whatever, and they acted badly. We politely asked all of them to pack their stuff and get out of our county. We literally were opening homes to them. Whatever we were having for supper, come in, have it. They wanted vouchers for McDonald's and Burger King and stuff like that. The food that we were eating wasn't good enough for them. And that was it. I mean, there was anybody in there. There were churches that put out buffets for these people. I saw YouTube videos. We weren't the only ones where this was happening. That's the way those people think. And that's after that. I mean, I'll never, please, Lord, don't make me ever live in a big city again. I will not live close to one. If we had even Lubbock, if we have to go to Lubbock for anything, we go to Lubbock, get it done, and get out.
Yeah.
It's
That's how I was. I moved when I got out of service. I lived here in Nebraska. Then I moved out to the West Coast because the work petered out here, and I spent like 40 years out there. But the first 5 years I lived in the city. But after that, I learned, heck with this. I'm not a city boy. Never have been. Not going to start now. So I moved out of the city, and every town I moved to would grow over the years, and I just kept moving until I got so far out that they couldn't build the city anymore. And that's where I stayed until I came back here. And yeah, I don't like the cities either.
first time I went to Lubbock, Texas. It was 60,000 people, and it is. Last time I checked, it was 300, and I think it's way more than that now.
Yeah, that's too big a place to hang out at.
It's not as big as Amarillo, but it's bigger than Abilene. It's bigger than Midland, Odessa. It's probably about the same population-wise. It's about the same as the Dallas proper, not the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but Dallas, the city
proper. Yeah.
There's really not that many people that live in Dallas, Texas. There's a lot of people that live in Dallas-Fort Worth area, though. Yeah, it's funny. Dallas is blue, and Fort Worth is purple to the pink side.
Yeah, I heard they're trying to make Texas blue this year.
I think we'll go blue this year, but
I
it's
don't
not
know.
because of it's not legitimate Texans. We've had so many people from California.
That's what happened to Washington. Everybody from California started moving to Washington, and that's what turned Washington blue.
We got California, Pennsylvania. We got a lot of people. We got a lot of people from Minnesota. Got a lot of people that have moved down here.
It's all those people, they move out of the big cities and they say they don't like them, and they move somewhere where it's nice and quiet, but they take their big city thinking with them. And pretty soon they can't be happy, in a little bitty town. They have to have what they had in the big city. So they start pushing their big city thoughts, and pretty soon they got a lot of people that have moved there from the big city. This is my opinion. They have other people from the big city living there, and pretty soon they're all starting to think big city.
Well, what it is they think, oh, well, man, this is great. Now if we could just get all the free stuff we had at the big city.
Yeah, exactly.
We're making
trying to be nice about it.
In Texas now. If we can just get all the free stuff we had in California, we'll have it made. It's the reason the free stuff in California wasn't cutting it anymore, people, is because when you're giving out free stuff, the value of the dollar goes to nothing.
Yep.
You can buy $1 worth of stuff with $1 in Texas. You take that same Texas dollar and go to California, you need 3 of them.
Yep.
What's a gallon of gas? Anybody in this chat from California? What's a gallon of gas right now? What's a
Should be somebody out there.
You're in Nebraska, right? What's gasoline going for?
It goes for about $2.59.
Gas is usually the highest in this county than any other county around. And right now it's sitting at $2.24.
Yeah, we're about $2.29, and if it goes up, it doesn't go up any higher than $2.60. And then it's right back down. It doesn't stay there very long. I don't know what the deal is with that, but
Our goes up to $2.60 and stays there forever. But
when I moved out here from Washington, though, the gas there was $3.89 a gallon.
yeah, Washington State and Oregon, their gas is flipping.
They're pretty high. Yeah. Somebody was telling me I still have friends that live out there. They say it's over $4 a gallon now.
Well, you can't self-disperse fuel over there. It has to be full service gas stations.
That's what I don't get. Where I live, there was a oil refinery like 30 miles away, and they wouldn't get gas from there. They had it shipped in from I can't remember, California, I believe. But
we had a refinery. It's close enough. This is how close the refinery is. They had an explosion. It's right. The refinery is literally right straight that way. They had an explosion at that refinery. I had to replace those 2 windows. That's how close it is. But we cannot buy gasoline from there.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, and believe it or not, it's really not that close. The refinery nobody died. That thing blew up, knocked my 2 front windows out of my house, and it's 38 miles.
There's one guy said that $1.97 in New Zealand.
Well, we don't like people from New Zealand. Or is that a liter?
He said that's for
for standard petrol. That's a liter though, and there's so that's $6 a gallon. I think that's what. How many liters are in a gallon? And tell me if I'm right about that. Shack Jude or whatever.
Crafty as. How much is that for a gallon? And $2 a gallon. I think there's 3.5 liters in a gallon.
But it said 3, so 2. That's $6 a gallon. That's like Canada. They're like, oh, it's only $1.69 a liter, and I'm like, dude, that's crazy high.
I'll figure it out.
It's too much. I mean, I don't want to buy. Can you imagine having to buy gas by liters?
3.785 liters is a gallon.
So that's even worse if it's by the liter. Because if he's in New Zealand, they're metric. So.
Yeah. Can you see it?
I see a dragon. No, that's not a dragon. What is that?
3.785.
3.785. 3.785. Is that a gallon or is that
that's how many liters are in a gallon.
Where the heck is my calculator? Wait, I got a calculator right here. What this? Yeah, dude. Just gotta get to it. They said that she knows that the husband's out hunting, but she said she knows it's being shipped from the U.S., so it's really high. I would think so, because that's $7.50 a gallon. Wow.
That's too much.
I figured it. Somebody was telling me the other day that gas was running right at, and this was a while back, so I don't know what it is now. Gas was running, or fuel was running right at $5 a gallon in Canada. I'm just like, why? But they pay taxes out the gazonga beans up there. They always talk about we got this and that and la da 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 da. They also got taxes. Chris says they pay right at half of everything they make goes to taxes. So if you make $1, if you make a $1 Canadian, they get 50 cents Canadian. The government does, and you get to keep 50 cents. That's socialism. And
Yeah.
that's everybody. That's across the board. Nobody gets no slack. So yeah, that's what.
That's what Bernie Sanders wants. He wants socialism.
He ain't the only one. Hillary was hiding the fact, but all of them, Hillary, the communists and the socialist parties disbanded and all went into the Democratic Party. All the people that used to be socialists are now in the Democratic Party politically. All the politicians. So if there's a person in politics today that's a Democrat and over 50, you got a 50-50 chance that they used to be part of either the Communist Party or the Socialist Party. So, yeah. On the local level, I actually voted for a local Democrat here because he's an okay dude. And I don't like the Republican. So,
I don't think I'm a Democrat or a Republican anymore. I'm not an independent either. I vote for who I think will do the best job.
That is an independent. An independent doesn't work. Every people think that they can call themselves an independent and it be a political party. No, that's there's 3 political parties currently in the United States: the Libertarians, the Democrats, and the Republicans. Independent means you have no political affiliation.
Yeah.
You can't count being independent. That's like they say Baptist churches. They're like, oh, well, we're an independent Baptist church. That just means y'all ain't got y'all just a Baptist church. Y'all ain't nothing else.
I used to be Democratic, but I don't like the direction they're going in. So now I just vote for the best one.
I vote for the what's the term everybody hates? Lesser of the 2 evils.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. No.
Yeah, I don't know. We're living a crazy time. I want to go back to when I was a kid.
Not me, man. I was that awkward little shit. My dog didn't even like me. He wouldn't stay around. He kept running off. He kept going to the neighbor's house and getting their dog pregnant. So one day he ran off and he come back limping. Apparently the farmer had caught him doing what he does. So I don't know. I want things to get better, but there is no improvement except by sacrifice. That's just the way it is. And unless we are willing, you cannot take a chunk of granite and sit in front of it and yell at it and expect it to turn into a statue. You cannot take a slab of granite and sit there and yell at it and expect it to become a countertop. If you want that chunk of granite to become a statue, You have to go over there and you have to chisel it into
Yeah.
it. If you
Well, that's
want
what I
that
tell
fat
everybody. I
to
tell
get,
everybody, yeah. They all say, "Well, I'm just not going to vote because there's nobody running that's good." But if you don't vote, you're not trying to make a difference in what's going on. So that's how I look at it: is you have to vote. It's your constitutional right to vote for the best person that you think would do the best job. And I'm saying I'm not doing a Democrat. I'm not saying I'm doing a Republican. I'm not doing anybody. I'm going to do the best, what I think would be the best for the country.
well, that's
So
the thing. People don't get it. I mean, it is your right to vote. You have the right to vote, but with every right you have, like the right for freedom of speech, the uh, right for freedom of the press, freedom of keep and bear arms, whatever the constitutional right is. With that right comes an equal responsibility. So while you have the right of free speech, you are now responsible for making sure that what you speak is the truth, is beneficial to both you and to others. There's responsibility comes up. I can say the F word for every other word while I'm talking. I can, uh, instead of saying can't, I can replace the A with a U, and I can use that word a lot. I can do all that because it's America, and I have the freedom to talk the way I want. Does that do anybody any good? No. With the right that I have to speak freely, to speak my mind, I also have the duty and the responsibility to make sure I'm telling the truth and I'm not deliberately trying to offend someone else. We have a responsibility. That's the only problem I have with libertarians is that they think that whatever they should want to do goes. If you are going to say that, all of you people need to go down to the prisons and visit the pedophiles because they were just doing what made them happy.
yeah, that's why I don't think I'm liberal either.
And
Because
liberal and libertarian are two different people.
I just say that I just do what uh, I don't try to change anybody's thoughts
A
because
libertarian,
everybody should think for themselves.
a libertarian believes that we should be able to live and let live. If what I'm doing is not bothering you, then it shouldn't matter to you.
Yeah, that's how
Okay?
I feel. Yep.
But the problem with that is, while my growing marijuana in my backyard and fertilizing it doesn't have any direct impact on you in Colorado. Now, the fact that every time it rains, though, I mean, me growing the marijuana and putting the fertilizer is not hurting anybody. But then when it rains, it washes the excess fertilizer into that creek and kills all those little baby trout. I mean, for tens of miles down that river system. It kills all of them. Kills all little bugs, all little fishes, everything. And your cat or somebody's cat down the deal eats those dead fish and then dies. Don't you think that a rule governing how many pounds of fertilizer I should be able to put on my marijuana, don't you think there should be a rule so I'm not over fertilizing and killing off entire ecosystems? I mean,
Yeah. Yep.
that's
Yep.
there has to be rules. Like that's how our country works. We get together and say, oh, okay, yeah, that's a bad thing. We're not going to do. We're going to agree because that's a bad thing. Then we're not going to do that anymore, and we shouldn't do it. But then somebody comes along and goes, but I like doing that. And now I can't make, I'm only making 10 cents off of every bale of marijuana instead of 11 cents. It cost them a penny a pound, so now they're coming unglued and they're just going to go ahead and do it anyway. And
Yeah.
you're no longer a libertarian. Now you're a trader. You've decided to disregard the constitutionally derived legislation which dictates that we don't do that, because the whole country agreed that we ain't gonna do that. Anyway, that's when you get bureaucracy involved and people get all pissy, because if we got enough government to govern everything, then we're screwed. We're supposed to be governing ourselves. If we see that the neighbor's putting enough fertilizer on his marijuana to kill the river, we should go kill the neighbor and burn his field to the ground. No, literally. I mean, we are doing the rest of the country a favor.
Yeah, an eye for an eye. Yep.
No, he's a bad citizen.
Yeah.
He's more interested in growing his dope than he is on anybody else ever again getting to enjoy that trout stream. So, but that's against the law, because everybody knows that just going and killing somebody for fertilizing his damn grass is wrong. So anyway, yeah, society is never going to work. That's my prediction.
Yeah, we're always going to be fighting. I'm pretty sure about that.
There's no way to win any of these arguments. I just convinced myself of it. I've already talked too much. My cough is coming back, which is getting better. It's not gone.
Yeah, smoke another one.
I haven't smoked in almost 2 months.
Oh, really? Congratulations. Yeah, good.
This is something going wrong. My wife got it. Then all the grandkids got it. My son got it. I got it a few days after my son got it. It lasts about 2 weeks. Mine, I got over the cold part of it, the runny nose and the stuffy head and the fever and the body aches. But then it switched over and turned into bronchitis.
Yuck.
And so now I'm taking antibiotics for the bronchitis. Supposed to drink plenty of fluids and try not to talk.
Try not to cough.
So, anyway.
All right, I think I'm going to get out of here. I've been here too long. I usually do an hour. It's been 2 hours and a half almost.
That's my fault. I did it.
No,
thanks for listening to the rant and stuff. Y'all are welcome.
Not your fault. I was here an hour and a half before you ever came up here.
Okay, it's not me. I'm innocent. That's it. This is not a skull. That's actually a halo.
I just enjoy having a good conversation. I don't always cut it off if the conversation is good. But I've got things I got to get done. Flies are starting to come over here and eat me up.
Flies are often attracted to salt and sugar.
Must be I don't have enough cookies on me then.
Might be. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. I was supposed to be at the grocery store like an hour ago.
All right, let's get out of here then. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming in. We're gonna get out of here. I'll be on. Supposed to be on tonight on my other channel, so you guys can look me up over there. Adios.